Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to take a closer look at Suga-T. She's someone who's had a really fascinating career. I mean, a lot of people know her as a rapper,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I mean, her music is iconic, especially here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, and her time with the Click was legendary. But, what's really incredible is how she's gone from topping the charts to, like, empowering others through education and business and all these different things.
It's true. It's like she's lived multiple lives, and all of them are impactful in their own way.
Yeah. It's not just a career change, it's a whole transformation. And we've got a lot to dig into today. We've got some great sources, like biographical stuff, details about her Sprinkle Me Learning Academy and her fragrance line. Oh, and even some insights from her own website, which is always cool to see.
Having all that gives us a really well-rounded picture.
Totally. Okay, so let's rewind a bit. Before she was a solo artist, Suga-T was a big part of the Clique, which, by the way, was a total family affair. I mean, we're talking her brothers, E40 and D-Shot, and their cousin B-Legit.
A real Bay Area dynasty. And their debut album, Down and Dirty, that was a huge deal back in '92, really put them on the map.
Yeah, it helped define that Bay Area sound. Then in '93, Suga-T came out with her own solo album, It's All Good. And, her career just kept going from there. Like, it was on fire. They got signed to Jive Records, which was a huge deal. And her album, Paper Chasin', even hit the Billboard 200 charts.
That's success right there.
It really is. And then she makes this decision to kind of step back. Like, she was at the top of her game, and she decides to change direction completely.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't have the courage to do that.
Totally. But Suga-T, she saw a different path for herself. She wasn't satisfied with just being a successful rapper. She wanted something more.
Something with more meaning, maybe, more long-term impact.
Exactly. And that's when she started getting into higher education. And we're not talking just a few classes here and there. This woman went all in.
I mean, we're talking associate's degree in business, a bachelor's in psychology, and a master's in organizational management,
It's incredible, right?
and her doctorate.
No way. That's amazing. I mean, how did she even find the time to do all that while still making music?
It says a lot about her dedication, that's for sure, and it shows she was serious about expanding her horizons, about going beyond music.
For sure. And all that academic work, that really laid the groundwork for what she's doing now with Sprinkle Me Learning Academy.
Oh, absolutely. It's like all those years of studying, they were all leading up to this.
Yeah. She launched that platform online back in 2015, and it's grown so much since then.
It started as like distance learning, but now SMLA, they do face-to-face training too, and they work with so many different people and organizations. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, what really stands out to me is how they focus on helping vulnerable populations.
Right, like trafficking survivors, people re-entering society after being incarcerated, domestic violence survivors, people who've lost their jobs, foster youth, low-income families, veterans, women going through transitions. It's a long list.
It's really about giving people
Yeah,
a chance to overcome obstacles and build a better future.
exactly. And it makes you think about the ripple effect. Like when you empower one person, it impacts their whole family, their community. It just spreads outwards.
It's true, and I love how she connected the name of the academy back to her song Sprinkle Me.
Oh, yeah. It's like a little nod to her past, but it also fits perfectly with what the Academy does.
Totally. It's about spreading knowledge, uplifting others, and that connection between her music and what she's doing now, it doesn't stop there.
Mhm.
Suga-T also started her own beauty line. It's called Sprinkle Me Fragrance and Beauty.
Which at first you might think, wait, how does that fit in?
I know, right?
But when you consider her overall message, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's like she's saying that empowerment comes in many forms. It can be education, it can be self-care, taking care of yourself, feeling good about yourself. That's empowering too.
I like that. And they even have that Be Kind fragrance line that supports girls on the autism spectrum.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome. It shows she's really putting her values into her business. It's not just about making money, it's about making a difference.
And she's definitely busy these days. She's still performing, she's written books, she does public speaking, and there's this thing called vision partner coaching that she offers.
Vision partner coaching. Now, that's a new one on me.
It's kind of like this new approach to, well, personal and professional development. You work with a coach who's like a strategic partner. They help you figure out your goals, overcome obstacles, that kind of thing. It's about having someone who believes in you and pushes you to be your best.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And knowing Suga-T, I bet her version of that is pretty unique.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
She brings her own flavor to everything she does.
Speaking of which, did you know she just released her 25th album?
Eros I Am, right?
Yep. 25 albums. That's
Hey,
crazy.
talk about dedication.
And there's a tour coming up too, so she's
Right.
going to be sharing her music and her message with everyone.
She's definitely not slowing down.
And she's also got this online course, 50 the New 30.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. It's about like finding balance and purpose, especially for people entering a new stage of life.
50 the New 30. I love that. It's like she's saying age is just a number. You can always keep growing and learning.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, she even created an online exhibit to go with the course. It highlights other creative people who are doing great things, especially in the autism community.
She's like this hub of positivity and inspiration.
It's true. Oh, and I almost forgot. She's also got her own show, Queen's View Raptable Report.
There's a new episode coming out soon, I think.
Yeah, that's another way she connects with people and talks about important stuff. So basically, we have this amazing woman who went from being a rapper to becoming an educator, an entrepreneur, a
And yet she's
philanthropist.
still making music.
It's a pretty incredible journey, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. What stands out to you the most about her story so far?
Hmm, that's a good question. I think for me, it's how she's always used her platform to help others. Like, she could have just focused on her music career, but she chose to push herself, to pursue these other passions, and to use her influence to make a real difference in the world.
Yeah, she's not afraid to step outside her comfort zone.
Exactly. And she shows us that success can be about so much more than just fame and fortune.
And what's really cool is how she blends all her passions together.
I know, right? It's like everything she does, whether it's music or education or business, there's always this message of empowerment and giving back.
It's like she's living proof that you can be successful and make a positive impact at the same time.
And her story reminds us that we all have the power to make a difference in our own way.
Absolutely. It's about finding your passion, honing your skills, and then using those talents to make the world a better place.
Well said.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to pause for now.
Definitely. There's so much more to uncover in Suga-T's world. It really is inspiring, to see someone so dedicated to making a real difference.
It is, and it's easy to just focus on all the amazing things Suga-T has done. But I think it's also important to consider, like, the context, to think about the world she was coming up in.
You mean like the whole Bay Area rap scene in the early 90s?
Exactly. Like, the Click, they came out at such a crucial time for hip-hop. It was a time when, hip-hop was really starting to branch out beyond New York.
Right, like finding its own voice in different parts of the country.
And the Bay Area had such a unique sound. And the Click, they were a huge part of creating that sound.
For sure. And their music, it wasn't just about, beats and rhymes. It was like a reflection of life in the Bay in Oakland, Vallejo. It had this raw, authentic feel to it.
Totally. And Suga-T, being the only woman in the group, she brought this whole other perspective to it. Her lyrics were sharp, her delivery was so powerful, and she was really challenging gender norms in what was, a pretty male-dominated industry.
Yeah, she was a pioneer, no doubt about it, proving that women could not only be in hip-hop, but they could excel in it.
I bet for a lot of young women, seeing her up there, hearing her music, it must have been incredibly empowering.
Totally. She was a role model even before she, consciously decided to be one.
Right, and then at the peak of her success, she steps back from music and focuses on education.
That's a bold move.
It really is. And it shows, again,
Uh-huh.
that she's not just chasing fame or fortune.
She had a different vision, right?
Yeah, like she saw that she could use her influence for something even bigger, that education could be a tool for real change.
It's like she was saying, okay, I've conquered this one world, now I'm going to conquer another one.
And she did. Those degrees, it wasn't just about checking boxes for her.
Right. It was about equipping herself with the knowledge and skills to really make a difference.
And then she takes all that she learned and pours it into Sprinkle Me Learning Academy.
It's like all those years of studying psychology, business, organizational management. It all comes together in SMLA.
And it's not just theory. She brings her own experiences to it. Her successes, her struggles, it all adds to it.
Yeah, that lived experience. You can't teach that.
And think about the people SMLA works with. These are groups that face so many barriers: poverty, discrimination, lack of access to resources.
And Suga-T, she doesn't just talk about empowerment, she creates pathways for it.
Exactly. She's giving people the tools and opportunities to build a better life for themselves.
It makes you wonder, if her focus on these specific groups, if it comes from her own experiences, from seeing these struggles firsthand.
Maybe so. I mean, her music often touched on social justice, on resilience. So it makes sense that her work with SMLA would reflect those values.
It's like her journey has come full circle. From using music to give a voice to the voiceless, to using education and entrepreneurship to empower those who've been marginalized.
And she doesn't limit herself to just one way of making an impact.
Right, she's always exploring new avenues, new ways to reach people.
Like with her fragrance line, sprinkle me fragrance and beauty.
Which, at first glance might seem a bit different from her other work.
But when you think about it, it totally fits into her overall message.
It's like she's saying that self-care, feeling good about yourself, that's a form of empowerment too.
Yeah, and don't forget the Be Kind line that supports girls on the autism spectrum. That's just awesome.
It shows that she's not just about building a brand, she's about building a community, a movement.
And using her business skills to do it, to fuel that movement.
And then there's her online course, 50 the New 30.
I love that name.
It's such a positive message, like embracing the next chapter of life, finding new ways to contribute.
Yeah, it's like she's saying age is just a number. You can always reinvent yourself.
And she even created an online exhibit to go along with it, highlighting other creatives who are giving back, especially in the autism community.
It's like she's building this whole network of support and inspiration. And then on top of all that, she's still making music.
25 albums, that's incredible.
Her latest, Heiress I Am, it shows she hasn't forgotten her roots.
And she's taking it on the road, too, with her upcoming tour.
It's amazing. It's like she's this one-woman empowerment machine.
But it's not just about her individual efforts. It's about the impact she has on others. She's inspiring people to embrace their potential, to use their talents for good.
Like she's planting these seeds of empowerment everywhere she goes.
And those seeds are growing into something truly amazing.
What I find fascinating is how she connects with people in so many different ways.
Through her music, her educational programs, her businesses, her speaking engagement.
And her show, Queen's View Raptable Report.
Right. It's like she's constantly finding new ways to engage with people, to spark conversations.
So to sum it all up, we have this incredible woman who went from rapper to educator to entrepreneur to philanthropist, and she's still making music.
A truly remarkable journey, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what do you think is the most impactful part of her story?
For me, it's her unwavering dedication to empowering others. Like, she could have just stuck with music, but she chose to push herself further, to pursue her passions for education and social change.
I agree, and what's really impressive is how seamlessly she blends all her passions together.
It's true. Whether it's music, education, or business, there's always this underlying message of empowerment.
And giving back. It's like she's showing us that we can be successful and make a positive impact at the same time.
And her story reminds us that we all have the power to make a difference no matter who we are or what we do.
Absolutely. It's about finding what you're passionate about and then using that passion to make the world a better place.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to pause for now.
It's amazing how much her story resonates with people. No matter what their background is, what they do for a living, it's like there's something in there for everyone.
I think it's because at its core, it's about growth, about reinvention, about finding your purpose. Those are things we all grapple with at some point, right?
Yeah, totally. We all have those moments where we're like, is this it? This is all I meant to do? Or how can I make a bigger impact? And Suga-T shows us that it's never too late to change course, to learn new things, to use what you've already learned, to do something good.
Yeah, she didn't let her success as a rapper define her. She used it as a foundation to build something even bigger.
Exactly. And she's proof that, like, success doesn't have to be this straight line. It's about embracing the twists and turns, the challenges, the lessons learned.
It's about constantly evolving, right?
Totally. And learning is a huge part of that. And not just, like, formal education, but learning from life itself.
Right, and Suga-T embodies that. She didn't go back to school for the status or anything. She did it to empower herself, to gain the tools to really make a difference.
And that's what she's done. And she shows how creativity can be a force for good, too. Whether it's music, education, business, she brings that creative spirit to everything she does.
So for anyone out there feeling stuck, unsure of their next move, take a page from Suga-T's book.
Right. Don't be afraid to try new things, to follow your passions. You never know where they might lead you.
The important thing is to be true to yourself. Figure out what matters to you and then go after it with everything you've got.
Great advice. And if you want to learn more about Suga-T and all her amazing work, you can check out Sprinkle Me Learning Academy, Sprinkle Me Fragrance and Beauty.
Her website's a great resource too. Tour dates, music, info about her online courses, definitely worth checking out.
So there you have it. Suga-T, from rapper to educator to entrepreneur to, well, all-around icon.
A true inspiration.
Absolutely. You've been listening to the Bay Playa Radio Network. We'll be back soon with more stories like this. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, Keep shining.